We are now live. Welcome to another episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. Today's topic, we're going over the financial industry's top cybersecurity trends and challenges. And joining me today, I'm really excited for my good friend, Josip Matosin.
Hey,
How are you, Josip? How are you doing today?
I'm very well, especially because you're one of the least persons in the world that can pronounce my last name properly. So I love that already. That's a good kickoff.
Dude, I've been practicing that for about a week, to be honest with you. So
I know. I know.
it's been serious. Like I want to get it correct because obviously you can tell by my name. Growing up in the United States, it was a very difficult pronunciation from kindergarten onwards. So I'm really sensitive to name pronunciation, and I try to get it right. So to our guests, you tuned in for an episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. We're always excited to be on Fridays live at 12 p.m. Customary, like we always do, we're going to definitely read my guest bio because I love reading the bios of my guests. They're hardworking individuals that accomplish a lot and they should be celebrated. So with that said, I'm happy to introduce today's guest, Josip Matosin. Josip works with Hayes, a highly specialized global recruitment company. After 3 very successful years in Germany, Josip was sent to New York City in 2019 to expand what the company already started, a national cybersecurity recruiting program. What started with him and an additional team member is now a team of 30 cyber recruiting specialists all over the country. Josip sits in New York, leads the cybersecurity sales operations in the tri-state. He focuses more than 50% of his time to work with startups and mid-sized companies in and around FinTech. He was also heavily involved in launching an extensive talent report, breaking down the biggest cybersecurity trends and challenges the industry is facing. Love it. Awesome bio.
Yeah. Thank
So
you. Thank you.
before
Yeah.
we, obviously in our show we hop into the news, and then we go into our topic of the day. Before we get into that, dude, you made a huge move, man. You moved from Germany to the United States. Was that a huge culture shock for you? What was the process like?
No, honestly, like it all comes down to my wife. She was already living in New York for quite some time in 2015,
Okay.
and back then when I visited her for a couple of weeks, like New York City was eating me alive, like in a positive way. I breathed the city from an everyday base, and at one point in our time in our life, we sat down and we were thinking about the next steps, and then like this offer came across from Hayes. My wife is working for a international company, so she got a job, and so we said like, let's do this crazy journey. And it's definitely not a culture shock. I love the US. I love the approach. I love the people, how open-minded everybody is, that I come across. And I obviously love the fact how where we are in terms of technology here in the US. It's just a huge difference to what you the way like European or especially German companies are sophisticated in terms of cybersecurity. So everything that I see here in the US is freaking awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, look, that's an awesome story. I love it, and also as you might know, I'm from New York, so you saying that those wonderful comments, that always brings me joy. For some reason, I'm not seeing our comments going on. I know it seems like people are commenting on other channels. I'm not seeing it on our platform. Okay, I see one now. My bad. Let's see. Someone just said, "Hello, Josip, Ricky Green."
Hey Ricky, how you doing? That's my
Excellent.
dude.
That's what's up. So listen, we're gonna now hop in. So the comments are working. Thank you, Ricky, for helping us test that because I was seeing other comments, but for some reason they weren't coming up on our screen. So yes, definitely we love the interaction and the comments. So like every week, before we jump into the main topic, we're just gonna go over some news articles that we found interesting for the week and touch base on that, and then we'll jump into our main topic of the day. So the first one that I saw an article in FinTech Futures, banking as a service. So banking as a service, what does that even mean? It's basically the service is being rented as a full end-to-end product, product business offered through the use of APIs, application programming interfaces. So businesses can essentially have the loan products and different banking products associated with their particular business and add that on as a service. So some of the markets that are, or some of the industries that are being targeted, so look at like financial services businesses who do not currently offer banking products, like insurance companies, wealth managers, and so forth. Other organizations outside of financial services can be that they can have a large customer fan base. So sports club, trade unit, professional societies. On the other side, retail, automotive, and telecom. So businesses with high value purchases where you can lease a car or a loan for a sofa, for instance, can basically act as a bank. A few months ago, during this news segment, we reported that Walmart is adding fintech, or they're acquiring one to add internally, but it wasn't too much news about that. So that seems to be the trend where the industry is going. What are your thoughts on that, Joseph?
I think it's exactly the direction the industry is shipping, because like, to shift into a way more digital world, like, it requires solutions to secure every transaction, and instill trust in every transaction. So wherever you look at all those industries that you just mentioned, it's becoming way more important to have like seamless processes, to have like something like a one-stop shop for like banks, consumers, enterprises, and governments. And this is the trend that we are seeing on the market on an everyday base.
And it's interesting you say that, because I mean, the one aspect I know from consulting at bigger banks, the biggest concern years ago was, these smaller shops taking our lunch and basically taking away from the business. But what I'm just seeing overall, not only in fintech, but even in marketing on the social media side, everyone is forming their own little community. So it's these micro communities, right? So whether it's, you have a streaming show, whatever, it's like you have a certain amount of users, and that's becoming more valuable. So if you look at now what we just talked about with these industries, it's almost like I have my fans or part of a sports club. These people like the brand. Now we want to just offer a full end-to-end service with those, as opposed to them going and getting it elsewhere. So I find that interesting in general. So let's go into, we have some comments here. A LinkedIn user, Josip, got fans here, man. Oh, that's so some people who are private on LinkedIn, I could see them on my other platforms. So that's Samir Parikh. Hope I pronounced his name correctly.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's my man. That's my partner here in New York.
Oh, awesome! Is he the one of the person that came with you to stand the office up?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow! Okay, awesome. That's huge. Both of you traveled to do that. Let's see another comment, Ricky. No problem from earlier. Yeah, that's thanks, Ricky. Okay, yeah. So let's move on to our other news article before. This is going to be a quick one. MasterCard announced the acquisition of a digital identity verification firm, Ekata, for $850 million. It's a Seattle-based company that uses insights to deliver unique scores, data attributes, and risk indicators to businesses. It offers a real-time identification toolkit for account opening, payments, and a variety of other digital interactions. The CEO, Rob Ellerfield, says acceleration of online transaction has thrust the global digital identity verification to the forefront. I think this is a good segue to our main topic. So, that's the idea of the, what that acquisition, security focused, heavy on identification, upping the game, using, in a sense, right, it's acquisition, using security as a differentiator, right? As an actual market differentiator to their competitors. What are your thoughts?
It proves exactly what we just said coming into the topic, also about like banking as a service, right? Like there's so many micro industries, and everybody is kind of specializing, and it's super difficult for you as an organization if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the talent in house, right? What are you doing? You need to find partners and build those micro industries or partnerships. And this just proves the point that like if you want to be part of the security industry, if you want to be part of the fintech industry, that like startups, smaller sized businesses, specialized businesses are way to go. And I come across a lot of candidates in our business that not everybody is super keen on equity options, which is sometimes kind of surprising to me, because imagine you started working for Ikata 3 years ago, and right now you're part of that acquisition and you got some equity options. I mean, that's money in the bank, right? So it's very interesting to see that. That's the trend that's coming, and it'll just continue.
That's awesome. I mean, it could go both ways. I mean, those are the success stories, and then there's the not so successful stories. You're stuck with worthless stock options, but but if it works though, it's a beautiful. I have friends. I have one friend, and it was a smart move he did. So at a startup, every year instead of getting his bonus, he would just say, keep the bonus money. He'd leave in the company, give me the stocks instead. And when they got acquired, I mean, he's a very happy guy. So it worked out. It worked out very well for him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I also know, just to add to that, I know
yeah.
someone who did a smart thing and got some options with UiPath. With you know what I mean? Like if he's on here right now, like he's probably on his own island right now.
And for those who don't know, like UiPath, that's like robotic process automation. That whole industry is taking off like wildfire. So I mean, at a client that I was with a few years ago, we had to take the from a more of the DevOps side. We're looking to take on some of the understanding. So we have to go through the training for one of those tools. So it's
Hmm.
yeah. So no, that
Nice.
whole RPA industry is very very interesting. So no, salute to your
Absolutely.
friend. That's a hell of a look. So jumping into our topic of the day, the
Let's
financial
go.
industry's top cybersecurity trends and challenges 2021. So give the audience a summary. So I know you guys at Hayes, you did this report, right? And obviously our users are heavy in the financial services industry, so we're gonna like focus it on that. But give some background on what we're about to get into, Josip.
So I think the most important thing, and the way we breathe and live cybersecurity since years, right? I'm doing this since 5 years, is to understand the industry. And to understand, if you understand the industry, I do think that the educational and awareness part that security plays in the world is super important. And so we adapted that as a recruiting practice as well. So it's not just about like finding the right talent to the right jobs. It's above, right? And so it's all about adding value as good as we can. And it's good to have like experts like me or the other 30 ones who understand the market. But it's way more important to not just like have our feelings about the market, like just expressing that. We need to back that up. So our idea is like to create talent reports, salary guides. You remember that salary guide with like over 75 cybersecurity jobs and average salaries in like 10 major markets, breaking it down and really like defining like what's an application security engineer in fintech worth it in New York, in Texas, etc. Right? So it's all about adding value and creating awareness and helping the industry to understand the importance of security. And this report, like this is not only for CISOs; it's even maybe more specifically for business owners, for CFOs, for CROs, for entry level people. It's pretty much for everyone. It's just like breaking down what is going on and educating the industry. And so we surveyed over 900 security professionals earlier this year to get some findings around, like, what does the scope of work look like, what is like the average breach that you come across, like, um, and way more topics, like how can we advise employers to do the right things when it comes down to security hiring. And just like to kind of kick it off, I don't know if people know that, but the average total cost of a data breach is very shy away from $4 million. And this is all because, like, cyber criminals are becoming more sophisticated, while attacks on backups are on the rise and leaving companies in vulnerable positions. So for every set of defensive measures organizations put in place, cyber criminals have like more clever strategy. And looking at like the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are currently 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity roles, and it's going to increase by 31% throughout 2029. So that means that organizations hiring talent development strategies must keep pace with the speed of cybersecurity. And if we go back to the report, and I will dig in a little bit deeper right now, but 60% of our respondents have difficulty recruiting cyber talent. And this reflects the skills shortage. And this reflects exactly that there is a lot of things to do, and to just prove the fact why this talent report exists.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, I like a few things you said. I mean, number one, being contributing to the community, right? At the end of the day, right? We all have businesses to support or jobs and different things like that. But sometimes adding value and contributing and giving, that's definitely a good effort overall. And as you were talking, I always, so I'm actually a huge hip hop fan. So I related to like life and when you said not emotional, I thought about this one line from Jay-Z: "Men lie, women lie, numbers don't." Right. So when you just look at it like that, you can kind of eliminate the emotion from it and make sound business decisions. Do you know what? Maybe let's share the report and let's go through it, because it's I know we broke it down to a presentation so we can do a shared screen, and I think we could have a really great conversation from it. All right, I love using this feature because
Absolutely. Let me
I really,
let me know when you
yeah,
can see that.
yeah. The world can see it now, Josip.
Yeah,
Everyone.
yeah. And and and
I
and
love it.
and and thanks for quoting the Hover. That's one
I
of
mean,
my
look,
that's
I'm from. At the end of the day, man. Look, obviously, families from Nigeria. You can tell by the name. But born in Brooklyn, New York, and grew up in the '90s. So definitely a whole Biggie. I can. That's a whole separate conversation that we're not going to go into right now. But you
yeah.
know, that's a whole separate one. That's not. That's more of my Instagram persona rather than my my LinkedIn persona. So we're gonna all good. Let's
Yeah.
see what Edwin Brockner says. Technology is great. We definitely agree with you, Edwin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you this story, right? Like, I was recruiting for an internal person to start within our practice, and fresh graduate, associate level. And I asked about like the interest into technology, and the person during the interview said, like, yeah, I'm not very much interested in technology, so I'm not sure like how much I can contribute to this team. And I was like, how can you not be interested in technologies?
Yeah.
2021, everything is technology. Like you,
It's
you
like
cannot avoid it. I didn't get that, but that's also a whole nother story.
yeah. Look, I've been a fan of it since I was 10. I went to my sister, my whole family, we went to this specialized high school in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Tech, and we have to have majors.
Hmm.
So all the sisters, she was a computer science major, so we got our first computer in the house very early on, and I wanted to play a game on it, and she gave me this huge book. It was like a basic A scripts, and she says, "You want to play a game? write your own. And, I didn't know about debugging. I just thought it was like, okay, we're gonna copy this thing and run it on some 5-inch floppy disk with green. It was some craziness. So anyway, we eventually, well, not her per se, but me and my friend of mine eventually got this ping pong game to work. And then afterwards, I just left the book alone because I'm real end goal focused even at that young. Once I got the game to work, I wish I would have stuck with it. Other than that, I picked it back up later on. But that's my funny technology story. So anyway, moving on to the topic of the day. So about 2021 cyber report. So some of the key highlights, it looks like you already talked about who you spoke with, talked about the skill shortage. Let's move on to the meat of it and jump into some stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, as I said, right, we had over 900 security professionals doing the survey, and we broke it down to like two-thirds of them have been security executives, CISOs, directors, VPs, and the rest of it was individual contributors within teams, right? So we separated everyone who is from a title perspective, not within security. We even separated them from the report to really have like the insights that the security executives and professionals are giving us. And just to give like an idea of the impact of cybersecurity, you can see in this slide that 50% of all respondents have been breached the last year. And 50%, it already does sound like a lot, but there's only 14% that specifically said no. So honestly, man, like my conclusion is that probably over 80 companies have been breached, but there are still some out there that yet don't know about it, right? And
it, it it's very interesting you said that, because I want to jump into this thing, and we have a debate from academic side. I'm also back to school, but one of the things is we've been saying protection or detection. Like, if you look from the standpoint that eventually a breach is very much possible, right? The biggest thing you should focus on is detection. You want to have systems in place so you can detect it as early as possible. You have a defensive depth process where at least if they're in, they're not going to get to your crown jewels, your critical assets. And I know later on in the slide, we're going to talk about data security and things of that nature. Before we jump into that, let's Edwin Brockner, even for non-IT focused careers, accountants, I believe there should be a foundation. I 100% agree with you. Another comment, Dominic, what was this guy? JP. Oh, okay, what's your middle name, Josip?
That's not my middle name, but at Hayes, we have like acronyms for our names. So if I put JPM into my email system, the email goes straight to me. And this is my boy from Nuremberg. Like, we worked together for 3 years in Germany. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Dominic. All right, yeah. So let's get back. Let's get back to it. I want to do, because it comes out a little bit small on my screen. So what I'm going to do is pull up the report so I can kind of see things clearer on a bigger screen behind me. All right, excellent. All right, so I have it too. Yeah. So so what are the results now? So we say 50%. So if your organization has experienced a security breach, loss of time and productivity seems to be rating higher than actual loss of revenue or cost, I see.
Exactly. And this is the thing. I think if you lose time and productivity, it's even more or heavier to worth it against like the money and costs, because every security practice has a lot of projects on their own that they have to accomplish, right? And there is nothing worse than like dealing with breaches and securing it hands on, and dealing with it and finding the vulnerabilities, instead of looking forward to your next certifications to do the things that are important, because those are the things that will bring you money. And if you have clients, if you deal with data, there's nothing worse than having like uh, breaks within your projects and everything that you try to accomplish within your company.
No, I like that. So we have another comment from the audience. I'm just trying to have I have like 5 screens going on in my house right now. Deborah Price would like to get a copy of the report. How do I get it? That was going to be the question at the end: is how do I get in contact? How do I get the report? But Deborah, thanks for asking early. How would one get this report, Josip?
So there's easy access to it. I can comment here as well, right? So I can just put the
Of
link
course you
here
can.
later.
Or even
Yeah,
better
yeah.
yet, you have people from your team on right now. Can someone put the link on for in the
Yeah,
comments to the report, please?
yeah.
Teamwork
Please
makes the
just
dream work.
yeah, exactly. Just someone. There should be someone from the team to post it, right? Someone was here.
Yeah, I think,
Other
and I
people are
think
as well.
Samir was
So
there. Yeah, Samir was there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
post the link, and then I'll make it. I'll also put it public, so it'll be part of the video chat once they do that. All right, cool. So no, that's interesting. So time is time. The biggest impact is loss of time productivity. I like this. Let's anything else we want to cover on this before we move on?
No,
Nice.
I think it's just a good overview of what can happen to your business, because you will not believe this, but I still work with so much companies, so much in smaller size companies. They still think that they are not vulnerable. They still think that they are not interesting for the bad guys, and it's just wrong, right? And especially for smaller type of companies like that are not heavily VC backed up, like you can lose your
It,
business. One breach
it,
and your business is gone. Everything that you invested, like, it's gone, and you don't want to be there. So make sure to have everything in place. Make sure to connect with the right people to secure your company, your business, not just like your technology or your data.
I'm waving my hand. So, I would actually believe it. So, obviously we're in the business and we talk to these people. So like, I think one of the issues, especially when you look at the smaller firms that maybe they may not have, I mean, have some seed rounds, whatever. Their biggest thing is just getting an MVP out, and they look at security more as an operational expense. And
Yes.
the conversation I always kind of say is, yes, it's operational, but it also can be a differentiation factor. We had a company on, a fintech vendor on a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine, Dan, and Blue Matrix, and they were going through their ISO 2701 certification, and
Mm-hmm.
they looked at it like, wow, clients have been asking us for certain our protocols, our policies. Now we can get audited by a third-party vendor, show them that, and in addition, it opens us up to our sales teams up to bigger client prospects that they could not have got to before without having certain things in place. So it's a competitive advantage. And now you start seeing the business case for security just outside of the operational expense. So some comments from the audience. Okay, number one, a LinkedIn user. Okay, I think this is, can't see them on my other screen. I don't know. I think this might be Samir again. Posted. So that's the link. It's gonna be it's on the LinkedIn chat, but because we just made it part of the video, if you're on our other platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, just copy that link, and then you'll fully have that the link to the report. Next, Edwin. And listen, guys, keep the comments coming. We love the interaction.
Oh yeah.
Ask any question you want. We could go back and forth. It's not a matter of time if you're going to be breached. It's a matter of when and how you react from it. Edwin, 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Detection over protection always. Let's see another comment we have from Blessed. You can never overemphasize the need for defense in depth when protecting the CIA of the data assets. Exactly. CIA triad. Good stuff, Blessed.
And that's something, Nnamdi. That's exactly what we are trying to do here as well. Sorry to interrupt you with the comments, but like,
No worries.
I love basketball, right? And everybody
Okay.
like seems to love the flashy ones, the guys who do the dunkings and the crossovers. But if you look at security, security is your defense, and like there was one major rule: the defense wins the championships. So if your defense is not right, if you don't have the departments within your company that do the, let's call it, dirty work, let's like to prevent and detect your business, like you are a very easy target because there's too much vulnerabilities.
And before we go into the other comments here, a comment from my main guy, Charlie Lee. We actually went to high school and college together. That's my guy.
Wow.
So yeah, I know long history, long history. I have a small group of friends like that long history. Anyway, to your point, right? Extreme foundations. It's foundational that that's extremely important. And in every sport, whether it's basketball, whether it's football. I'm a fan of MMA and martial arts stuff. I really like that type of stuff. So all of those things, the key is foundational practices. That's what actually helps you excel faster. And part of your foundation is your security. So let's go to Charlie's comment real quick. Agree fully. Lost engineering time is 225 to 300 an hour plus lack of productivity due to remediation efforts being required post infraction. All of this takes away from productivity, revenue, and ultimately impacts the forward thinking work with delays. So excellent point, Charlie. And I know that goes into what in your survey, in your first page, right? You said that the biggest thing is loss of time and productivity. So I like equating it to actual the numbers it's going to cost you an FTE or a consultant. Thanks, Charlie, for that comment. I totally agree. Um, Back from Blast. I also believe a proactive approach to security is necessary, a risk-based approach. We totally agree too. I mean, we have and this is obviously going to be a shameless plug, but that's what plugs are, shameless. So, but no, we have this service we offer. We partner with a really good company in TrustMap, and we offer security performance management. And the idea is once you go through your assessment, it's not just a one-time assessment, it's a continuous process because it gets stale. So how are you automating that process? How are you basically putting it on a platform so at any time, put in time, you can understand your security posture, you can understand your risk, and you can understand the remediation and costs to get to your roadmap. So that's one of the services we offer. So to Bless' point, I totally agree with a proactive approach. Let's get back into the presentation. So what skills and experience do you look for when sourcing entry-level roles in IT security?
Yeah, obviously, a lot of entry level people, they reach out to me and they're like, we're struggling. Every entry level job requires like 1 to 2 years of experience. There's so much technologies that companies are looking for. We only have like 20% of them in our experiences, even though we are interested, right? So it's not just if you like. This is an advice to all entry level employees out there. Like don't just look at technologies, don't just look at the requirements, don't just look at the job description, which is like sometimes a wish list. So look at it from another perspective. If you have experience with working technology, if you have the attention to details, if you have the basic knowledge and foundational skills, you are more than just a valuable player in this game. And if you have the passion, creativity and curiosity, like this is what companies are paying to bring you to onboard you, because all the skills you can learn them, but you have to have the appetite to learn them. And this is where it comes down. And especially entry level people, they tend to go to interviews and they be like, I'm getting interviewed. But interviews are, even at your stage, a two-way street. You also want to find out. So the more proactive approaches you have during your interview, maybe running a risk assessment on your own about the company, finding vulnerabilities on your own with IP addresses and everything that is possible. This is the stuff that differentiates you on the market and that makes employers hiring you, because this is the proof of being curious and having this creativity and having the passion. Because this is what it comes down to, passion, right? You have to have a passion for security, otherwise you're crazy to being part of that industry. If you don't like that, it's just going to be a pain. And so those are the skills that the hiring managers are looking for. This is all coming from cybersecurity professionals. So please take it to your heart and think about it and try to implement it into your interview processes. And I'm sure you'll find a job very soon.
I love it. No, all great advice. I had a story to share, but I'm gonna pause on my story and go to some comments. Brian Wilson, he says brand and I think he meant reputation hit is also an effect.
Yeah,
Totally agree. And these things is hard to quantify. Totally agree with you, Brian. Deborah,
absolutely.
and data breaches lead to loss of data, which cause lack of compliance and penalties in financial services. Worst nightmare. Definitely agree. I don't have some stats in front of me on that, but I definitely know some fines for just not securing your assets, going against regulation, have been in the hundreds of millions of times. So it's been a very expensive hit for certain brands. Not to mention if you expose your client base, even it may seem small if it's one person getting the credit report checks and things of that nature. When you start averaging it out to millions of customers, it gets extremely expensive, extremely fast. Axe Target from years ago and other companies that suffered such breach. Rose, Naomi, I'm loving the discussion. It's so insightful. Thank you, Rose, and thank you for tuning
Thank you.
in on the YouTube platform. We appreciate all our listeners and our commenters. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next slide, Josip.
So this is where it comes a little bit down to like how do we translate all those findings into what's going on the cyber talent market, right? So there is so much companies and hiring managers struggling to find the right people, right? 60%, that's a lot, and not difficult at all. It's pretty much 20%. And so how does this happening, and what's the reason for it? I do think like if you look at the cyber skills shortage, right? Um, the demand is there. I talked about the 3.5 million jobs, and we did also ask our service ones to how they identify top cybersecurity challenges, how they um, identify the cybersecurity talent, and it is difficult because nobody really knows the internal, like security is a very young industry, and there is no path like there is for accountants, which is like 100-year-old industry or profession. And security is so new, there's a million people coming from different backgrounds. So uh, like it's very important to improve the skills of how does the talent acquisition department partner with the hiring managers. How do the hiring managers address their skill needs to the C-level people? And how many times is it probably even a pain to do all that stuff? Because if you got breached, right, like you lose your time and productivity. So how much time do you have to finalize a job description for the right candidate? And so a lot of people are finding this difficult, and I can just prove that. And and please go ahead.
Yeah, I had to jump in. Listen, man. So you touched on something in the last slide, and we're touching upon the difficulty aspect. And, obviously, I'm connected with different people, some in the recruitment business. And look, the running joke is the wish list, man. It's like, okay, like it's almost like if you're looking for a mate and you have this book of this is my criteria, and you're not necessarily, I don't know, like we talked about the NBA, you're not famous, you're not some celebrity, let's say you're making, I don't know, like okay salary, nothing crazy, and you have, in terms of attraction, maybe you're okay, right? But what you want, I mean, everyone shoots for the stars, but goodness. So same concept now on the recruiting side. Like maybe your company is, you're not an incumbent financial services bank that can offer so many different things and so many different career options. You're a smaller firm. Are you going to be a unicorn? I don't know. Maybe not. But what you're asking for now, I mean, shoot your shot. Everyone has the right to do so. But now, what you're asking for, it's like, then why would that person want you? So, is there a
Hmm.
different strategy? So that when you start talking about the skill shortage. I don't know. I have I don't know. I know the stats. I know what people are saying, but from the ground, from people I'm talking to, even from people who want to get in, people who are in, I don't. I don't know. I don't know if I really buy those stats. That's my opinion, and I'm just one random person. But the numbers and the reality, it seems to be a disconnect. What are your
Absolutely.
thoughts?
Yeah. The thing is, where are all those stats coming from? I mean, it is true, right? There is 3.5 million jobs unfilled right now. But how do we
100%
break
agree
it
with you
down?
on
How
that.
can we? Yeah, um, what is a security job? Are you just looking for titles? Are you like it? There's so much, like always. There is so much more behind it, and you can't just grind on the surface and being like, that's my opinion, and that's how it is, and that's what we need to change.
And I want to make something clear. I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with your numbers because your numbers match other industry reports that I've read and I've seen. What I'm disagreeing with are those numbers matching to the reality of the situation and actual people I talk to, actual recruiters that I know who have a difficult time fulfilling a job, and they're bringing like great candidates forward, but these candidates are just not getting hired. So that's what I'm necessarily disagreeing with. I just want to make it clear that what I'm disagreeing with.
Yeah, I get it. And the thing is, and one of the most things that I come across is like, as you said it, everybody's looking for a unicorn. And those unicorns exist, but you also have to pay the unicorn.
And,
You,
and,
you,
and look, and unicorns want to date unicorns, right? So like, I'm a
exactly.
unicorn, and you're not a unicorn. Well, why? Like, I want another unicorn because unicorns like unicorns. uh,
Exactly. But if you want that unicorn, you can't pay a zebra or a donkey. You know what I mean?
oh,
Like and
100%, 100%. No, I love this discussion because we talk about this offline a lot. I have conversations like this offline with Renee. We both know Renee Small from the Breaking Into
yeah,
Cyber podcast. So me and her have like
yeah.
tons of offline conversations, and like that's just the running joke. I know we're over our time, but I can continue. I think this conversation is going all afternoon, but obviously we don't have all afternoon. So, but I want to make sure we get through certain slides. Let's move on to the next one.
I think the most important thing is, like, we want to give our people and our audience today, that we highly appreciate that they are here. I think the most important thing is to give some takeaways. And
Okay, I love it.
when it comes down to takeaways, I think the recommendations are the most important things. So looking at these numbers, we can dig into those numbers, but I think, like, how can we help employers and employees having a takeaway from today? So get
Qu-
involved in the
qu-
cybersecurity industry,
Question,
right? Like,
but before you
go
go
ahead.
into the takeaways, there was one slide I definitely wanted you to cover, and it was the actual roles. It was, I don't know what page it was on, but you went into. I think we okay. No, we did go over it, but I don't know if we dived into it. The application security, governance, risk, and compliance. And I just wanted to kind of drill into that a little bit more. I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
we could go back into the recommendations, but what are you seeing from those first two in terms of application security, governance, risk, and compliance? What are you seeing, especially in terms of the fintechs you're speaking to and so forth?
Exactly. So if you look at the fintech trends itself, everybody is moving to the cloud. Everybody is trying to use artificial intelligence as good as possible, and all those companies, they are so much specialized. So application security in fintech is the thing, I would even say, because you have your applications, and it's not enough to just, like, secure like your old school way. Like, application security is a highly demanded thing in fintech, right? Data risk and compliance, like we need to be certified. If you're not certified, if you don't have like the processes in place, you will struggle to get the big clients if you're a startup or a mid-sized company. So you want to make sure that you have the right data security in place, and that you have the specialists in-house or outsourced or as consultants or virtual, whatever, to make sure to get all those certifications to be part of that industry. And this is why I think that this numbers like speak proof to those points, because 50% say application security, 50% say governance, risk and compliance, and data security. And if you look at data security and GRC, right, it's also like it goes hand in hand kind of, as well as application security with all those certification processes. So it's not a surprise for me to see all those roles being highly demanded in fintech.
No, it's definitely interesting, and they're highly demanded. And when you're talking to AppSec professionals and so forth, are how are you finding, like, when you find them? Is it easy to find the number one? Do you see a pool of them and so forth?
Um, Sorry, I didn't get the last question.
No, I'm
Like
sorry.
the
Yeah, I'm
second
sorry. I
question.
think it kind of, like, in terms of finding the AppSec people, like, that's a highly in demand. Are you having problems finding AppSec, or do you
No,
see a
honestly,
shortage now? Okay,
honestly, no. I don't find it like difficult to find them. I think it's since it's highly demanded, like the application security engineers and architects out there, they are also demanding a couple of things. And this is like working remote. This is looking for benefits. This is like, what about equity options? What is my how is my role defined? Like they want to choose the right thing as a next career step. And this is where we don't struggle to find those people, because we do have hyper focused application security engineering recruiters that are doing nothing else than this every single day, only looking for application security engineers. So we got them, we find them, but there's still like tons of roles open. And yeah.
got it. Now it's good stuff. Let's go to the audience and let's jump into your recommendations. Number one from Natalie McLeish. The unicorns only exist because someone took a chance with them initially when they were a donkey. Super fact.
Wow,
Um,
that's super deep, Natalie.
uh, I love it. Edwin, Josip, have you taken note of any certification or experience that employees are looking for in GRC?
What certifications are we talking about? Like the certification process for companies, like SOC 2 type of style, ISO, or are
I,
we
I
talking about like?
I think he means the certification for the individual. So when employees are looking for like the experience from an individual perspective. So if he's a candidate, what are you seeing there? If saying that they want risk and compliance, what are some of the criteria that they need from a potential employee?
The criteria is less the certification itself, and it's always difficult to recommend like certifications and being specific about them. I think the most important thing is the skill behind that. Like did you successfully transform or run all those processes? Do you know about the exact challenges that you will have getting the certifications for your company? I think that's more important. So it all comes down to, when you interview for a role like this, is like, what is the company facing? What challenges are they facing? What are the next projects to stand on? And am I experienced in that stuff or not? Like, I don't think certifications matter as much as the industry tends to believe.
Excellent point. Excellent. Let's go into the advice for employer recommendation. So this advice, just to set the stage, are from the industry professionals that actually took the survey. Okay, excellent.
Exactly. So obviously, get your organization involved in the cybersecurity community. There's so much stuff out there. Eventbrite, meetup groups, sponsor groups like this. Be part of that, and just like educate yourself and try to talk about it. And I think it's very important to offer upskilling opportunities to retain talent, to invest in development. I always say, like, if you look at entry level, people ask me, what kind of jobs should I take as my first type of job? Like, I want to be in security, but everything I'm getting offered is like help desk support and roles like this. And I'm like, yes, those are exactly the roles that you need to take as your foundation. Because if you don't have the foundational IT, networking, routing, switching skills, like, you will never fully understand the capability that you need to have to become a pure cybersecurity specialist. So what happens is, like, if an entry level person gets a help desk support type of job, there is an opportunity to upscale and help desk person that has the appetite, that brings the creativity, that brings the passion, that brings the curiosity to learn more and become more. So if you take and help desk person becoming part of your SOC team, whatever, or an analysis team to train and develop them, you can already like retain new talent into your help desk team with another entry level person. And I think that is like the life cycle of how we can fight against the skill shortage, and how we can bring in the awareness that you need to hire graduates, you need to hire like people coming out of boot camps and trying to be part of that industry, as long as they bring the soft skills. um, Reevaluating your requirements for the role,
Quick
that's like,
question.
yeah,
Quick question,
please
so
go
we
ahead.
could just drill in. You mentioned soft skills. Elaborate. I said you
Do-
mentioned soft
like
skills. I, yeah, just so for the audience, so because like especially if of an entry person is listening to this, um, if you could just elaborate on that.
yeah, I mean it's what I said earlier. Like, why do you want to be part of that industry? Like, do you want to be an NBA player because you want to be famous and rich? Usually doesn't work out. But if you want to become a basketball player because you love basketball in your sport, like, the chances are higher that you'll be there. So, like what you do, be interested, right? I have seen people not getting jobs because they, in their current job, they purely focus on AWS, and they don't have the appetite to like take some extra time in the evening and learn a little bit more about the other providers. And this is like, there is no curiosity if you're like that. Then you're a 9 to 5, this is my job, this is what I'm doing. But think outside the box and try to get more. And if you want me to elaborate like the soft skills, that's exactly what I'm talking about: being proactive,
Okay.
being curious, and just really being interested in what you're doing.
Because you can go in like many different directions with soft skills. So I just wanted to clarify what exactly you were referring to in terms of from what you've seen and the different things that can work for candidates looking for the break-in perspective. All right. Good stuff. Please proceed with the list.
Yeah, and here again, right? We already touched base with that, reevaluating the requirements for a role, like talent acquisition. Try to like get more involved with your cyber leaders. Cyber leaders, try to educate your HR staff as well, because for them it's also difficult. Like, today they need to find salespeople, the next day they need to find finance people, and they don't have the chance to be as specialized as we are, for example, because we only deal with cyber, right? So I think it's evaluating the requirements. What is really necessary? Do we need a job description that has like 26 bullet points, or can we boil it down into like top 3 skills and top 3 soft skills, something like that? How can we ease the way to attract better talent? I think that's very important for employers. Like, look beyond the tech skills. As I said, like, interview people, get to know the personality behind that, because there is a lot of hidden talent out there, and you need to talk to them. If you don't talk to them, you will never find out, and only judge the paper. And judging the paper is just not correct. So yeah, I think also, like, partnering with educational institutions, we are doing that with like a lot of boot camps, a lot of universities, to create this awareness, to like get more people being interested into the cybersecurity industry. And you can do the same type of things as a company, as a business leader, partnering with universities, boot camps, etc. Especially the non-for-profit ones, they tend to present a lot of good values and bring technical talent with some very good skills. So those are the main topics that I think it's very important for employers to know how to retain the good talent.
No, all excellent points. I have a current university affiliation offline. I want to probably connect the dots with you since you're partnered with different universities that could add value in that perspective. So we have some audience comments. Cyber attacks on applications grown from Deborah Price. Cyber attacks on applications has grown due to companies moving to the cloud and have to manage their assets remotely. You need the right employees with the right skills, but also security tools that learn and can stop breaches without human intervention. It's huge. I mean, look, I think in the order of policies first, right? And then it is humans and it's technologies to support the first two. So, totally agree with you. But I think the analysis, Deborah, is accurate. Josip, do you have anything to add to Deborah's comment?
No, it's a good comment, and she's totally right. Again.
Again, yeah, Deborah's been like a MVP today on the chat. So I love it. Ricky Green, loving the advice, Josip. Me too. It's excellent advice.
Actually, Ricky is one of those guys that I'm heavily involved with. He's working for Npower, which is like a boot camp academy for like IT and cybersecurity graduates. And yeah, here we go. And
All good.
like
Plug.
they specifically represent underrepresented minorities and help them as a not-for-profit organization to like skill up to run them through the boot camps and prepare them for the industry. So that's just one of the things, but this is an industry or like an educational institution that you can be involved with. It's local, it's huge, and they stand for the right values.
That's excellent. Shout out to Npower. So I'm gonna take this thing off. Back to me and you. Listen, we like I said, I think we could keep going, but we're literally 30 minutes over the 30-minute time. It's been a great show and a great con. This has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get you on the show for a while. You agreed to come on, so I'm really happy, and I think it was a great episode. So I enjoyed the conversation. Definitely thank you for stopping by. And actually thank you for going through your presentation. So once again, I'm going to repost it before we close out. I'll repost a comment so people can see where to get the report. All right, there you go. So I'll post it right now. Press pause on the replay, and you can copy that and get the report. Or if you're on LinkedIn, you can just click on the link in the comments.
Yeah.
We have a new comment.
Just to finalize that, right? If you're not able to pause it here and copy the link, just connect with me on LinkedIn. I did also post the link. I can do that again. But yes, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to share the report, to schedule a meeting and share more insights, because obviously, there is so much talking points, and so if you need to know anything a little bit more specific, I'm here for you, and I love to share the insights because I think it's very valuable.
You beat me to my question. My last question always is, how does one get in contact with you? But it's like you read my mind, or you watched the show before. I don't know. One of the two. So Josip just gave a way to get in contact. Let's see. Ricky says thank you for the support, Josip. LinkedIn user, I think that's Samir again, saying I guess he's thanking me for reposting the link. Deborah's, thank you guys, great insights. Deborah, thank you very much for tuning in. Everyone tuning in, and thank you very much for the comments. I really appreciate you. Every week at 12 p.m. live on Fridays. We're here until otherwise stated. Brian, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Brian, for tuning in. Really appreciate you. On that note, it's Friday at 1 p.m. and everyone's gonna get on with the rest of their day. And I wish everyone a happy weekend. Once again, every Friday, live at 12 p.m. EST, we are here at the Tech Behind FinTech. talking about technology insights in the financial services and fintech community. Please log on and join us. If you want a replay on the show, it's on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook. So it's no excuse to not get a replay if you want to look at it. There's everywhere. And in terms of streaming, you can stream it on all of those platforms. We might be going to be adding more in the future. Let's see. Somebody else came up. Thank you for everything. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let's say enjoy your weekend, Edwin, and thank you, Edwin and Josip. I think there's somebody new. Andrew, thank you both. Thank you, Andrew, for tuning in. All right, guys, that will be it. Josip, let's
Can I say
talk
a final thing?
offline. Of course you
Can I say a
can.
final thing?
Of
Yeah,
course.
thank you. So I know there is a couple of people from the team, from the company. There is a couple of people from Germany. There is family from Croatia right now looking at me. Like, I appreciate you guys. I love you, and I hope to see you all soon.
On a whole separate note, I want to make it out to Croatia. I heard so many good things about it, and that was on the list. But then something called a pandemic happened and shut all that down. But I want to make it out there. But that's a total offline conversation that we'll have,
Yeah.
and I need some tips and things of that nature. Okay, guys,
I'm
have a
an
great
expert.
weekend.
I'm an expert.
Oh,
All
I
right.
know. Take care.
Take care, guys. Happy weekend.